This is kind of like a little bit of a two for today. We are trying to both circle back to brews that were successful pre-Flage Ban to see if they can kind of rise up in the ranks now that the metagame is shaking up and there's a little less Boros, and the Boros that is there is less powerful. Um, and so I was looking at updating the Icetill Coffers deck. This was a really successful deck. We had a few different versions of. I was really torn on circling back to Karn versus playing this version. This version, it loses the power of main deck Karn, but what it does get to do is play more cheap interaction, and it gets to win with cut ribbons, and you're just really in on Icetill Explorer, milling it over and flashing back ribbons for a bunch, which you can actually achieve a lot faster than you think. And I was looking at the deck and I remembered Intimidation Tactics. This is a 1 mana discard spell. Opponent reveals their hand. You can choose an artifact or creature card from it and exile it. And this was printed back in Aether Drift, which was that was like, was that January of last year? Was Aether Drift really January of last year? I think it was. Holy shit. Um, like early like 2025. And I remember when this card was printed, I was really excited to play it in like coffer shells and then see if it was, I kind of figured it'd likely be good in coffer shells. We'll see, and then try it in some lower to the ground black mid range decks, because a discard spell you can cycle. A discard spell you can cycle is so good. It's so nice that this, like, in a big way, mitigates the downside of a discard spell, because if you top deck in late game, you just cycle it. Especially in a coffers deck where in the late game you're just gonna have tons and tons of mana. And pretty early into this card's life, we realized that Dreams of Steel and Oil in a Flage format is just like mandatory over Intimidation Tactics. You have to be able to take a different card and still passively exile the Flage from the graveyard. Dreams of Steel, it's the same card, but you also get to exile a card that's already in the graveyard. And it was literally just the card Flage that stopped us from ever playtesting this. It was literally just the card Flage that stopped us from testing Intimidation Tactics. And so, since then we've hammered out this shell and we like it a lot. And I think this is a format where you really want to play more cheap discard spells, like Affinity and Prowess. Like, both those matchups are like really nice if you lead on a discard spell. If you don't have a discard spell turn one, it can be kind of sketchy. But it's tough. It's tough to load up on so many discard spells in a deck that needs to keep churning. But Tactics kind of mitigates that churn. And also, I'm just gonna play the fourth copy over the fourth Thoughtseize, and this will make some starts less painful, which I think is kind of nice too. And so I'm really excited about this card. I'm very optimistic about it. It both lets me build the deck in the way I want to, while like also mitigating the late game mana flood. I'm really excited about that. Beyond that, we're on Damnation over Culling Ritual in the main deck. I think this makes sense with the rise of Living End and Affinity. I'm playing a basic forest in the sideboard for all of the Field of Ruin decks, and I'm playing a third swamp in the main deck over the main deck Blast Zone. There wasn't a Takanuma in this build already because we had to cut the Takanuma for the Blood Crypt for ribbons. I think I'm up Trinispheres, or maybe I was down and then up. I do have the fourth Thoughtseize on the board. But yeah, let's. Will I still be removal magnet from another creature? Yes, although it's like, what's nice about it, I still, like, always is at least a 2-for-1. So if your opponent kills your Icetill, you go Icetill land, they kill it, you 2-for-1. It's not that big a deal. Compare it to, like, if your only creature is Ragavan, for example, you never get that 2-for-1 experience. So that we have talked a little bit about the removal magnet dynamic, but I'm usually, like, more okay with it if it's something that you're always going to have a favorable exchange against removal. Jabbage with the 52, thank you, welcome back. Sack Tap with the 2 months, appreciate you. Dr. Lubafu with the 25, and Bikodanos, Bikoidanos, thank you for the Twitch Prime, appreciate you. Right here, win with ribbings, yes. I think we once won. I know we've had a lot of turn 5s. I think we once had a turn 4 with cut ribbons. I think if you go explore into on turn 2, I still on turn 3, I think you can cut ribbons if you have enough Urborg coffers and like the super duper nuts. But you can turn 5 a lot of the time. I can try this on the draw. So on the draw against Sewers, Surveil, Thoughtseize in the yard, kind of likely to be that Grixis Reanimator deck. It's been really popular. Happy to draw a Fatal Push for a possible turn 2 Frog. Moxfield should be up to date. Well, let's take the Unearth so that they aren't able to just go Unearth Frog with Spell Pierce up. There's an Arrayo deck. Yeah, we had an Arrayo deck we were doing well with for a little bit, and I think I do think it got, like, unfortunately a good bit worse post BNR announcement. Yeah, I think I'm down to keep land here. Master Marvo, tier 1 for 3 months in advance. Thank you for the support, my friend. Next turn, I could possibly just plot Pillage the Bog into the Spell Pierce. -1 Decay, -1 Tactics, 1 Explore, 3 Talisman. I hate the idea of playing Talisman in my Coffers deck. Having artifact-based ramp in my Coffers deck is not something I'm willing to do. So one thing about Arrayo against Cascade is, like, Arrayo is good against, you know, every card in the deck besides the Cascade spells. Although it's also really bad against Mysterized Village. But we played against Cascade with it, and it didn't actually perform as poorly as you might think it would, but still wasn't super duper good. So I think I'm just gonna go Explore and then put the Coffers into play and pass with the Cling to Dust up. I'll pay if they Spell Pierce. So they could have an Oculus or an Archon in their hand. I think if they have those, I think passing with Cling up is, and Cling with the ability to pay for Pierce is going to be better than casting this turn. I might even just cycle it this game. So they play a Frog. I guess I don't want to Cling right now because my opponent could, like, discard and reanimate something. But let's just go cycle the Tactics end of turn. Shout out Thoughtseize. And then we're going to try to Pillage the Bog into an Urborg. Nice, tough deck. If we can find a Urborg on a draw step or the Pillage, then we'll laugh at the Spell Pierce that's in our opponent's hand. Even just any swamp increases my mana by 2. But we do find the Urborg. So I want to make sure this push is going to resolve first. And if it does, then we don't have to worry about finding another removal spell. Am I surprised the Boros players didn't move to blue-white? I mean, people are playing the blue-white build. I guess I wouldn't say I'm super duper surprised that the blue-white build is not more popular, since the blue-white build was a deck that did really well at it did better than Boros at the last Modern Pro Tour. And despite it doing better than Boros the last Modern Pro Tour, Boros continued to just be more popular after. I don't know exactly why this is the case, but I'm not surprised to see it happen again. It's a little awkward. They do have the Pierce up, but I think that's going to be okay. Basic Force isn't good in the Coffers base ramp shell either. It's better than I guess we'll just trade this for the Spell Pierce. Like, if you have Urborg in play, then the Forest contributes to your total mana count, which Talisman doesn't. Like, Basic Forest being in play is adding +2 mana right now. And it also just helps us, like, deal with Blood Moons and stuff. I think it's like one Forest gives you 5 green sources because of Verdant Catacombs. Okay, I'm gonna play the Cabal Coffers and see if we can find an Icetill Explorer off a Pillage. Likely can. We do, which I think the Icetill is gonna be more impactful than a removal spell, since we're just gonna have so much more card advantage this turn. Wait, I don't have a fetch land in my graveyard? Okay. A little shocked I don't have a fetch land. I just assumed I did with 15 cards in my graveyard, but that's fine, I guess. Okay, we do find a Fatal Push. I guess I'll just go cycle Cling to Dust with the 4 mana right now. And that might restrict a Oculus. Did find a fetch land. Another Unearth, maybe? Fatal Push the Icetill so they can play an Oculus. Should be fine. They have one card in their hand. The data is a little skewed, very specific to high tier pro team under Nassif, play Quantum Energy versus average qualifiers, Jamie Boris. As someone who's been on a team with Gabriel Nassif, like the gap between the players on his team and the gap between the average player is not as big as you're describing. Every player who makes it to the Pro Tour is very good. And you should try not to underestimate them. Yeah, I think Trespassers, I'm kind of back into the trade binder post Flage ban. For better or for worse. I guess I'll just take the Damnation. I think we have ramped enough. Well, I can flash this back first. All right, so we can just grab another Icetill, keep the cut ribbons in the yard. Okay, so up a game against the Grixis Reanimator deck. I think I want to be on the Emrakuls. It's a bit awkward because you can mill the Emrakuls. A little bit worried about Surgical. Maybe do 1/1. So the tactics are interesting because they let you exile creatures. Their creature quantity is kind of low though. And I feel like I feel like I want to be able to take their non-creatures a lot of time. So I'll probably do like 4 Thoughtseize, 2 Duress, 2 Tactics. Why no Prof? You don't really need them as a win condition. If you don't need them as a win condition, you don't really need to be playing them. I'll go down to Pillage. What happened to last league? I wanted to drop to adjust to be better against Blood Moon. I do have a burn list basket. It's in the Mox field, and we might be playing it today. Really in on Chandra's Incinerator plus Arena of Glory. Maybe giving haste to your 6/6 Trampler. Remember Professor Onyx? So Professor, I think we found was mostly worse than they scour me main phase. And they surgical by Cabal Coffers. Sure. Okay. I might lead on the. I guess I want to lead on the Thoughtseize because of Unearth. Although the tactics is going to be maybe too likely to miss if I wait on it. So with Professor Onyx, it's like the card is fine. A playable card in this deck that's worse than Emrakul, worse than card, worse than cut ribbons. It's like the fourth best option for your win condition was what our testing determined. I know we like trophied with it, but that was what we determined. All right, we get to exile the Oculus, which is nice. I think that ended up working out. My hand is a kind of Thoughtseize proof. I guess I could take the push. Do I think Wizard's still a good deck? Critique. If you're asking, do I think Traumatic Critique is good? The answer is a resounding yes. I think Traumatic Critique is awesome. I think Wizards is good. I think I don't like all the subtleties I've been playing. I think I'm realizing that subtlety is not very good. All right, so I guess we'll take the. I guess the problem is if I take the Unearth this time, then they can go Thoughtseize my Thoughtseize this turn, and I won't be able to take the Persist. So I guess I'll take the Persist. And if they draw a land and Thoughtseize, I have 2 pushes for Frog. I forgot to do a second one. Yeah, they surgicaled my Coffers turn 1. Which is going to make winning this game tricky. Funny if both gamers just dueling on 1 land here. Alright, so I'll take the Thoughtseize and save the push for the Emperor. How did Mox Opal Boom Bust compare to other? We only played 2 matches, but I liked it. I just had to go to lunch. Opponent's still missing lands. I liked it. I would play it again. So we do mill our cut ribbons. It's weird to me Pillage the Bog is higher than the casting cost. Well, plotting is really good because then you get to like power it up the following turn. Never can we 5 with Onyx and play Dugan Challenge. I know, like, that was, that was, we 5-0'd with it, and it was also, like, kind of clearly worse than other options, like the whole league. Despite being a card you can choose to play, especially if you, okay, we gotta keep this, I think. It's a card you can choose to play if you like it, that's the play style you want to play, but it's like, it didn't test better. Very weird game. I don't have a Cabal Coffers in my deck anymore to try to find. Although I think I'm gonna try to find Icetill and use Urborg as a Lotus Petal to start using this as card advantage. And try to get up to Emrakul mana. Is Emrakul cast without coffers? Yeah, Icetill gives you a lot of mana. Sure. Well, I guess I should fetch my basic swamp here, huh? Sorry, my basic forest rather. Maybe I should get. I guess how could they really play Harbinger? I guess let's not find out the answer to that question. We can go to 10. There's 2 more lands we can play. Build a Revelation. Kind of milling our whole deck here, huh? I have 18 cards left in my deck. This is such a weird game. The turn 1 surgical your coffers is so crazy. So they find a looting. Let's hope they don't find land 3rd persist. Or so they've had the looting. They finally are able to cast it. They discard 2 copies of Archon of Cruelty. Can I just kill them with ribbons next turn? I have 8 mana, so I can have 11 mana, which means I can ribbons for 9, which is going to put me at 1 point shy of killing them. I guess if they cast Thoughtseize, we can win. Wait, did I cut that right? I have 8. I get to play 3 more. Yeah, 11, so 9. I started one of the cut ribbons out. I'm kind of a new player in MTGA. It seems I need to pay a lot to enjoy a good deck unless I'm missing something. You are not missing something. That is the case for Magic Arena. What we're playing right now is Magic Online, which has a different economy. This Magic Online, you can play Modern, which is the format we're playing now. It's an older format. It's my favorite format. It's what we play on this channel. And what we use is a third-party rental service that lets us rent any deck we want. It does cost a good bit a month. I think it's like, for me, it's cheaper because I've been using it a while. I'm not sure what new accounts cost, but they're like, I think they're like 50, 60 bucks, somewhere in that range. But they let you like rent any deck, and you can also get money out if you have a high enough win rate. Although if you're new, I would definitely be a little wary. Casting Emrakul. What a weird game. Why push the frog when we have Emrakul? Fair enough. A lot of fun dipping my toe. I think I should mulligan no interaction on turn 1 on the draw. I had a lot of fun dipping my toes, and I guess we have cut ribbons, but also Explorer is nice. So like it cost me about $1,000, I think a little bit more than that, to be able to stream Timeless. And so this was to have to have like enough Timeless decks that I felt like I could come to the stream and I could have content for you guys. One deck is definitely going to be a lot less than that. Although I also think the timeless decks were harder to get. So they go Halfling, they go Rumble. They show me Ugin. Is not a card you see very often after Delighted Halfling. And then a Grazer. Wow, it's the mono green Coffers deck, but with Delighted Halfling. Which I don't exactly get. Tactics cannot hit Planeswalkers, so I guess we're going to be graveyarding that. So the Coffers are just basic forest for now. Interesting to run into a Coffers mirror. I might board out my Urborgs. Especially because their deck is like a little bit more reliant on Urborg being in play than me. They just have a card anyways, which makes some sense since they didn't take one. And they grab a coding. So my plan maybe is going to be to explore and try to surveil into ice. Okay, I found the Icetill. So now my plan is to find a land off of the Pillage the Bog. And if I do that, I can try to Icetill my way through the Karn coding a bit. The double damnation, a little awkward, of course. Do not grab the Urborg here. I guess I could just grab Swamp since I have 3 green sources. Do people just go infinite on leagues? Yeah. That's I mean, so not everybody does. Like, but if more people do than don't. If you have a 50%, wait, do you need more than 50%? I actually don't know. Because a 3/2 is positive and a 2/3 is not positive. Maybe you need a better than 50. Am I concerned about card and mono red control? Yes. At least I'm concerned about it in the bridge version. In the non-bridge version, it's not really the card decks are really good matchups. Yeah, 3/2 is infinite, but you can go slightly worse than 3/2 forever. I guess you do need to be above 50%, don't you? I'm gonna take the Ugin. They might be able to like Karn for Mindslaver here. According to GoBots, if you have 50% winning leagues, you get plus 16 cents. Let's go. They top deck something big. Thoughtseize bug. Okay, we're gonna be down a game against the mono green Coffers deck. Halfling is kind of weird. I was actually looking at the mono green version. You can find it in the Mox field if you are curious. Probably down to like 2 tactics. They're gonna have Mycospawn, Halfling, maybe Emrakul. I'm gonna bring in my own Emrakuls. Gonna cut the Damnations. Probably want to go down to 1 cut ribbons. Although this kill Halfling. Pretty punished, I guess. For I might board in the forest just to go lower on removal. Yeah, 5 answers for Halfling's probably a good number. In the old legend rule, would Urborg make them sack their Urborg? Yeah. So the Blood Crypt thought this would be Wish Coffers. Yeah, I thought a little bit about Wish Coffers. I feel somewhat confidently that Karn is better than Wish, if you want to go that direction. Culling Ritual instead of push, it hits liquid metal. I think it's important that you could kill Halfling in turn 1. Icetill is also a pretty good answer to coding. Not able to board out the Urborg as it seems. Opponents on a mold to 6. Tactics. I really need another land, and Tactics doesn't seem like a premier discard spell against them. So hopefully we could just surveil into land 4. Spike ever redeemed a full set through Moto before? No, I don't like. What am I gonna do with the full set? Like go on Facebook Marketplace and piece it apart? It's just like I'm at this point in my Magic career, I really am not like a collector. I don't like how I just like having decks. I don't like having a ton of cards. So I just basically always sell them on Magic Online, a lot easier that way. Soulless Jailer. Um, so this is gonna stop my Icetill Exploring, unfortunately. So I guess I'm gonna plot. Wait, yeah, let's maybe not plot that into Soulless Jailer, huh? So I don't find an answer to the Jailer. I guess I'll take an Urborg. And maybe just another Resentful Revelation. They bog me, which is it's pretty good. Yeah, with Jailer, you always have to read it and make sure it does the thing that they're trying to do with it, because so often it just does nothing. So hopefully they don't have their own Cabal Coffers. Obviously very weird, but kind of fun matchup. All right, we'll take Thoughtseize, cast Thoughtseize. They don't have the Urborg, but they could get it off Mycospawn, so we'll take it with the Thoughtseize, and then play Icetill, play Cabal Coffers, and I think I can cast Emrakul next turn. It costs 11, and we have 6, 10. Yeah, we've got like 13 mana. See if they find an Urborg off the stirrings. Sorry, Cabal Coffers off the stirrings. They find a Mycospawn. They aren't able to cast it this turn. So plus 3 mana. I don't have lands in the graveyard anyways. X can't be 0 on Lair, right? Okay. If it could be 0, we'd mind control him here. So let's kill their creatures. Let's see what their build looks like. They have 2 Dismemberment against me, 4 Halfling. This was a deck I was thinking about playing, the new 1-drop for Flare plus the Grazer Flare package. Just gonna fail to find. Oh, they have an 8 mana Ugin. I didn't even see it. Okay, just gonna fail to find here. Print screen. I think I got it. Or at least I have the, enough. They find an Ugin's Lab probably here. Just the one Jailer. I guess it was probably a Karn target they boarded in. So they can cast a Karn and they can crypt my Dead Gone to stop me from winning the game next turn. Couldn't we animate their lands and kill on attack? No, you're confused. Or sorry, activate Lair and kill on attack. I guess we could, but I think I want to fail to find on the Mycospawn. I thought for some reason I thought you meant Karn could like plus and animate. My opponent gets an ensnaring bridge, which means they're just gonna be dead to cut ribbons. I don't even think I have to attack. Because we need to stop them from getting coffers off the Urborg. Did you know that Lorcana TCG doesn't allow you to note cards from opponent's hand? Oh, looks like I do have to attack. I could put them to 1. It's like a game skill to memorize. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, so it doesn't see it. So the tactics are good against Mycospawn. That's kind of it. I think I'll play 3 push on the draw. I'll be a little bit better against the 4 halflings. You have another land drop. I think you need to attack. Oh, I could have just fetched and then done it. Purely out of curiosity, what would or something at all entice you to play MMTG Arena? I would love if there was like a really like awesome tournament series, and if there was modern on Arena. Those are like the two things that would probably be the. It would probably mostly be modern on Arena, but those are the things that could get me to migrate. I guess we'll keep this. Hopefully they have their own Urborg, right? If you're playing Party Thresher, Artisan, any interest in Thresher and other prepared creatures aside from the Red Emeritus? I mean, there's not really that many, right, that you could play. But I mean, like, I'm not uninterested. Yeah, so we might just get a. Oh, they do have an Urborg. Okay. So maybe we're just hoping they don't have fourth land here. Like, I mean, it's gonna be card and two mystery cards. Yeah, they have the fourth land. Yeah, it's just gonna be tough to be on the draw against turn 3 card on the play. Unless we find Decay for the coding, or if we find just an Explorer to get underneath it with Icetill. I guess we can find Thoughtseize. Or Duress. Okay, don't, but I do find an Explorer to... Like, Explorer could get me out of this. The Gen Thrasher Lewin deck. So there's a new combo with Thrasher and the 3/2 that like lets you cast a spell from your graveyard and ephemerate. It's like you get to have infinite cast, infinite ETB triggers, which is interesting. To chat. Oh, I guess I need another green source. I needed to not kill my forest. Oh, I drew Decay. Probably don't have Myco Spawn. I think I'm still casting this. All right, we got the Grazer. So they do target the coffers. So if we draw green source, we'll play Icetill. If we don't, we'll decay the coding, which will allow them to card for something else. But okay. Cast decay. Also, this only cuts off cut ribbons, right? So I cannot win with the ribbons anymore because I've used the decay and I didn't bring in Culling Ritual. My opponent has 6 mana. Maybe they'll get like Mindslaver here. Bazaar with the 1 year. Ahmed with the 69. Appreciate y'all. Oh, that's right. The Revelations and the Clings. Kind of good, actually, against me. Good call by them. My opponent grabs a copy of the Stone Brain. What do you think they're going to name? Yeah, Modern's been really weird. I always enjoy a weird Modern. They take Emrakul. So I've used my Decay. There's a Grafdigger's Cage in play. Oh, the infinite combo with the 3/2. So you go the 3/2 target, and someone might say what the name is in the chat. I can't remember. The 3/2 first strike from the new set casts a instant or non-creature spell from the graveyard, or it goes to exile. You can cast it to your next turn. So with Party Thrasher, you can tap that card to convoke out Ephemerate it again. It untaps. It goes back to the graveyard. You target it again, and we're kind of dead here, aren't we? You target it again, and you can keep doing that infinite times. But the thing is, you need to have like a Dragon Rage's Channeler or a Guide of Souls or something to like actually win the game after you combo, which is always a little awkward. I think I'm gonna concede. Actually, I don't think we're gonna be able to beat the Karn, and they've like successfully cut off both my win cons. This hand's pretty good if we can surveil into a non-Cabal Coffers land. And we are okay. It should be fine. We're okay even missing on the first turn because we could just spend the turn playing coffers. Is it Pia? Oh yeah, Pia's kind of interesting. So yeah, well, I'll try to build a deck around that. Any interested in revisiting Primal Prayers? Yeah, Prayers is probably a good one to look at. There's a lot of like old decks we need to be looking at. How embarrassing is to play Impact Trimmers? It's pretty embarrassing. I think it's like never the case that Impact Trimmers is the best like payoff card you could play. It's almost always that there's something better. Yeah, you can't ephemerate chance because you don't get the rebound. But the this combo is kind of benefiting from the fact that you don't get the rebound. Yeah, Corey Steelcutter is probably a good one. It's just like you could play Corey Steelcutter over Impact Trimmers. You know, why would you play Impact Trimmers? I think I'm gonna Thoughtseize this turn. 2 Dothies, but no second land yet. I think we gotta take the Dothi despite them having Edict for my Icetill. We're a little ways away from that, obviously. Have you considered pairing Academic with Emperor? You can activate Emperor every turn. Yeah, I had a deck with it. We never played it. I think Academic's just a little clunky, and like all of the ways to make it powerful or like other kind of clunky cards. It may somehow be optimal in like exactly Hollow One, but I'm not like super optimistic. Pew Pew with the 37 months. Thank you. Welcome back. And Cloudy Days with the 10. Appreciate you. Goddess Corey. Yeah, I think there's a few different ways you could go with it. Like one thing is you kind of need to make Ephemerate a good card otherwise, like, especially because you want to be like proactively playing it to some extent. Obviously, Second Coffers is classic. So their hand is Edict, 3 mystery cards. I think Wandfield might be the subtlety replacement. Looking at Izzet Wizards might be a little sus. I think I'll be all right. It is totally fine to play Juan in the Wizards deck. They flip over a Pillage the Bog. Thank you, Ragavan. Totally fine to play Juan. I don't know as much about Field. It seems like it'd be okay, but there's a lot of like Spike. What about this modern staple for the deck? And I think my issue more so is there's like 1,000 different cards we could play, and I don't think you can be super confident to know the answer. Like I'm somewhat interested in fourth Force of Negation. I'm somewhat interested in like another Prismari Charm. I'm interested in maybe trying Archmage's Charm again. I'm interested in like trying to figure out the number of cheap red removal spells. I'm interested in more Consult the Star Charts. I am interested in one. There's just a lot of possibilities, of course. I guess I'll discard the Icetill because they have a Edict in their hand. I think I'm not gonna push here either. Nice. All right, and I think this turn we will try to find Urborg. Nice as well. Interested in playing Professor Dellenfeld? Unfortunately not. Unfortunately, I hate fun. Yeah, I posted the Incinerator Burn deck. I think we're gonna likely get to it today. Field is just jumping games to misrise. Yeah, I like that. I totally think Field One is a fine way to go. You also don't like have to like max out on the combo either, of course. Is that Croaks in the yard? Yeah, they look. It looks like they're playing something similar to what we're playing, although we were not playing Clean. We're just playing Croxas. But I will say Arena Croxa has felt like a good thing to do in Modern still. Um, I don't finding the best shell is really tough, but I would like to find it at some point. I do not feel like we did find it the other day. I think I'll just take Explorer. Nice Thoughtseize. Why not push Ragavan, saving for Croxa? Oh, so I think we're just saving to Damnation, and I guess we could have pushed that turn. Wait, no. Sorry, the turn they just dashed Ragavan, I didn't have push up. And this was the first window there was to push Ragavan was this turn, but I Thoughtseized it instead. Alright, so we're gonna flashback the Revelation, get to cycle the tactics, which I know is like the most mundane thing you can do, but I'm still kind of excited when I get to cycle my top deck discard spell. I guess I'm taking another Coffers over the Surveil. I don't know. I do already have so much mana, but I think another Coffers will let me like Revelation into Cut Ribbons and cast it next turn. Although if they just have a land for Kroxa, I'll be discarding the Coffers anyways. They top deck Arena for Kroxa, which is actually a little bit better for me because now they won't be able to escape Kroxa 2 turns in a row. I haven't found the Cling to Dust in the top 30 cards. We do have 3 to maybe find off the Revelation. So we do go down to 2 life. I draw a Revelation. I guess I should, okay, I find a Cling to Dust. Although it seems like the move is going to be grab Icetill Explorer, play Icetill Explorer, play 3rd Cabal Coffers, play 4th Cabal Coffers. And then I can escape Cling on both Kroxas. If I go down, I go 7 -7 down to 17. Yeah, if I find a if I find Cut Ribbons, I can just win right now. So let's do that first. I do not find Cut Ribbons. I guess I'll just grab a Fatal Push and then Cling Kroxa. Cling Kroxa. Probably Cling also. Do I Cling or do I flashback Revelation? I guess I'll just flashback the Revelation. All lands. Is this a John Kroxa deck? They're Rakdos Kroxa over there. My Icetill's gonna die. But someone mentioned this morning, like, is it a problem that Icetill is your only creature because it's a removal magnet? But in this deck, we played it. We played 2 Coffers. It's okay that it dies. It's a little bit annoying that if I can't really pillage into my Cut Ribbons here because there's not a target for it. I'm going to start off by clinging their Cling. That's something I definitely want to do this turn, so we'll just see what we draw off that. I'm going to get rid of, be a little less worried about exiling lands from my yard at this point. Okay, so we drew the Cling, or so they're Cut Ribbons. So now let's just go Pillage the Bog into a Icetill Explorer. And we want to make sure not to play a land off of our Icetill. Oh wait, no, the Blood Crypt's in the yard. Sorry. It's actually kind of a problem that the Blood Crypt's in the yard. Because now I'm going to go untap Blood Crypt, and they're going to kill this Icetill in response to my mill trigger, which means that this means that now I can't cast the Cut Ribbons. And how many ice? I have 1 Icetill left. Yeah, I guess I can still try to find Thoughtseize. Oh yeah, I should have just found Thoughtseize off the bog. That was better. Okay, I found it anyways. Why play a land? I needed the red mana to cast Cut Ribbons. You weren't listening. I had in order for me to cast the cut to get out of the hand, I needed to play the red source. It's red in the hand. Okay, up a game against Rakdos. I think the Culling Rituals are like probably strictly better than Damnation. Doesn't mean that we don't have to play Damnation, but I don't think maybe they have Seasoned Pyromancer. Yeah, we'll bring in an Emrakul. I like the tactics. I think I'll just go down to 0 Thoughtseize, just play the tactics. Let's try this. Weird game. We can't mulligan this. I guess we'll prioritize fetching Swamp just in case they're playing Blood Moon. I wouldn't necessarily expect it. Is in Cube Intimidation Tactics, is including it over IOK a metagame call? I mean, a little bit of a metagame call, but also like look at the deck we're playing. The ability to like cycle your top deck discard spells is huge, especially with all your extra mana. And so I'm trying to see how it plays in this deck, and I think I have liked it a lot. I'm trying to see how it plays in this deck, and then if it plays well in this deck, I might be including it in other like just lower to the ground black decks too. How come Living It is really not top hitting challenges? Is it not as good as we thought, or people are playing it, not playing it so much? I think it's a combination of like Living It has always been like not that popular of a deck to play. Like people just genuinely don't enjoy playing it as much as they do enjoy other decks. And so when you see a big modern shakeup, there's always a little bit of like, I'm going to play the deck I really want to play because there's a shakeup and see how it is. Like there's a lot of that happening. Like you could even just look at the last 2 matches we played and see that in effect. You have a surgical? A surgical revelation in response. Or not in my draw step, which is very good here. Kind of happy they didn't target the cut ribbons. Maybe they also have another surgical. So there's some of that happening. It's a little bit hard to quantify how impactful the like I want to play my pet deck thing is, but it is a real thing that's definitely happening right now. Another thing too is like in addition to people not playing it as much as people expect, people came ready to hate Living End. Like I think even still like we're playing against an opponent with main deck Dothy Voidwalker. People are main decking Vexing Baubles. People are main decking Consigns. People are full of hate for Living End, and that it is a deck that you could hate out of the format. Now, I don't really enjoy the dynamic that they discard Kroxa with Arena in play. I don't enjoy that dynamic either. I don't really enjoy the dynamic that it's like you can hate out Living End or you can lose to it. But that is the dynamic we're seeing at play here. So I guess I'm discarding these 2 cards, and maybe I could just find a Cabal Coffers and cast Emrakul. How is that dynamic different from Affinity? I guess the big thing is people really like playing Affinity. I also like Affinity is like you can play like a fair game of Magic and win against it. I don't know if it just feels like that's not the case, but like Affinity is a deck that sometimes you go Thoughtseize them and like they're really weak to Thoughtseize, and you play a normal game against them, or you counter their 1 payoff, you prismatic ending their weapons manufacturing, you have main deck Wrath Disguise. It's like Living End is not a deck that fights on a normal axis, which makes it like really frustrating to try to interact with because all of your like main deck creature removal is like pretty dead, and counter spells are good against it, but outside of counter spells, like like discard spells are not so good against it. You have to have counter magic or main deck graveyard hate, and you're kind of screwed. But that's not really the case with Affinity. Affinity is like a deck that your normal interaction spells will win against sometimes, even if they're not like a super duper good plan. So still no Cabal Coffers. So this is my last land for turn. Still no Cling to Dust. Another thing too is like the sideboard cards against Affinity are stronger against Affinity than they are against Living End. Like Living End, like you have like somewhat fragile lock pieces that die to Wistfulness, they die to Force of Negation, they die to Foundation Breaker, and you don't get any advantage when they die. But like Meltdown, Wrath the Skies, Fade from History, or like if you resolve these, they oftentimes are like 6 or 7 for ones that are backbreaking to get back from. But they could have Kappa Cannoneer or weapons or counter magic. But like when you resolve your sideboard cards, they are so devastating. They're more devastating than they are against Living Into. This does turn on possible fatal push from our opponent, I guess. It's a little bit concerning that if I do Emrakul them next turn, I might just be dead to Kroxa anyways. I guess I can exert the arena for that not to be the case. So I have an Emrakul that costs 9. I have 6 mana in play. I can get up to 8, but I can't discount the Emrakul because of the Dathi Voidwalker anymore, and I can't find a Cabal Coffers because of the Voidwalker. So let me just make sure I counted correctly. I have 6. I can go to 8. I need 9. So I guess we lose. I have 7 in play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, great. Perfect. I counted twice. So I don't know. I guess I'll start counting 3 times. 6 and 7 are 2 numbers that have blurred together in my mind here. What did I exile? So they have a fatal push off the Voidwalker. So let's see if they have another Surveil land. So I guess the line is to cast Ragavan, cast Fatal Push off the Dathi Voidwalker on the Ragavan, exert the Arena of Glory, and we are dead to another top deck arena. That's about it. And we might be dead to a top deck. I guess we're dead to a top deck Kroxa too. Top deck Bolt. I actually didn't see if they had bolts. You want to escape Kroxa? We lose if we escape Kroxa, so let's not do that. What would be the splash color in this deck? What if the splash color deck would be red and Wish Coffers is born? I've thought about it. However, it seems to me that Karn is better than Wish in this archetype. Escape Kroxa, push it instead. Is that better? Did they not have enough to escape again? You're still dead to top deck Kroxa. I guess yeah. If they didn't have enough to escape again, then that does play around another top deck arena. You could not exile Kroxa to its own escape. Okay, I'm gonna keep this on the play. We're gonna lead on the tactics off Urborg. Been playing Kroxa since Civ 3. I'm so happy he's the only Titan legal. Yeah, Kroxa feels pretty balanced. At least in the context of modern. Arena Kroxa is good. It's definitely good. Alright, we have a push for the Oculus. We'll just take the agent. Looks like we're up against Simic Ritual. Should be a pretty good matchup. Have to watch out for Harbinger of the Seas. Maybe she got Basic Forest here. I guess, yeah, Basic Forest probably better. Is Invoke Despair something we can consider again? The problem with Invoke Despair is Ocelot Pride and a Johnny, and like the little cheap creatures out of Affinity. I feel like it's probably still pretty bad. Like Invoke Despair is one of those cards that like. I guess we don't crack the fetch because of the Oculus. I really want to Surveil. Let's see what they do. They play a Ritual. I mean, they're pretty far away from the Oculus. It's just Surveil. We'll try to find something more proactive. It's like a lot of cards like just like any Edict effect maybe, or there are cards like there were cards that were playable because Izzet Murktide was so easy to attack, and like Invoke Despair might have been one of them. Like in the Murktide meta, you could just play so many cards because like there was just such little like card advantage and stuff was just vulnerable to regular removal. If that makes sense. They flip a Dismember. We'll push a Oracle here. Not loving our position. Hopefully we can. I'll just do this. Hopefully we can find a revelation. I guess we'll fire off a Thoughtseize. So their hand is Subtlety Island, Double Dismember. This is a little bit awkward if I draw an Icetill. I don't have to play it. They may even just run out. They may even just run out Subtlety. 4 mana main phase to main phase the Subtlety. Okay. You really think tactics have? Do you really think tactics have been deemed competitive in modern ever before today? The structure of that sentence a little rough, unfortunately, but so tactics was a card that when it came out over a year ago, I was pretty excited for. Okay, happy to put this top deck. I was pretty excited to try it, and then unfortunately, oh, they have Flare of Denial, but they sacked the Oculus. I guess I should have pushed this already because they could turn it into Oculus. Damn it, sorry. It's Harbinger instead. Sorry, I should have pushed this. I was trying to answer the question. So it was a card I thought I was really excited to play in Coffer Shell, specifically just in the format in general. And I decided that in a format where Flage exists, you have to play, if you want a card like this, you need to play Dreams of Steel and Oil so that you can take a card and also passively exile Flage from the yard. I deemed that, I guess, too important. Now things have really changed a lot. So I think with this extra forest, it was meant for the debate about curative format list. Oh, I've been ignoring that. Y'all are so ridiculous when you just go back and forth for like 20 minutes. I just phase all that out. I don't know. Y'all are very silly. So Vexing Baubles are really good against them. The cut to ribbons, the actual removal part of cut ribbons is pretty bad. I think I want to play 1. Can cut 1. I'm gonna go down to like 1 Cling to Dust. Maybe I cut all my fatal pushes. I just lead in on the sweepers. And then maybe I go Thoughtseize Duress and play 0 Tactics and maybe play 1 Tactics. Go down 2 Explorers. Try this. Weird sideboarding. Okay, we're gonna keep this. Getting a second basic swamp could be good, so I could Damnation Harbinger. Opponent's in the tank on their 7 here. Yeah, need a Tasigur for sure. If you could spend black mana on Tasigur's ability, it'd be actually kind of juicy. Any plans to revisit Soul Trader Airship? Definitely if Blink gets more popular. I like Soul Trader. I liked Super Shredder in Soul Trader. I thought that was a pretty good addition. It feels bad because when we first started testing Airship, Blink was the most popular deck in the format. You'd play against it so much, and Airship just happened to be like the best card. Like it's like one of the best cards in Modern against Blink. It's like insane how good it is, and I think that dynamic greatly biased me towards Airship when like the reality is like Airship is it is really powerful and you can play it early, and it's like it is, I think, still a good plan B for decks like Soul Trader, but as like your plan A and mid-range decks, like I think there are better plan A's, and it's not like that good against stuff like Boros or Affinity or Prowess. It's not embarrassingly bad, but just not your best plan. Are there decks that Tactics misses? I don't think there's any deck that you have a pure miss. There's definitely going to be matchups and spots where it's not as good. Right, so we want to cast the Pillage here since we've got the Vexing Bauble out there. I'll take the Thoughtseize so I can try to resolve the Icetill next turn. Control's pretty bad. You have Solitude's hit. That's true. I mean, you could also cycle it is always an option. I guess I forgot about the dispute. Can't guess that I still this turn anyways. Opponent's holding up subtlety, which is you could say ideal against my hand here. I think I'm gonna sack the Vexing Bauble since we need some different action, and my opponent's like just easily in hardcast range anyways. Can escape a Cling to Dust here. We're gonna make the Emrakul more expensive, which is a little bit of a problem, but I think that's okay. So they run out of subtlety. Yeah, I think I maybe just got really punished for not taking the Urborg. If I kept the Urborg, then like our ability to fight through the counter magic is going to be a lot greater. All right, so I'm going to plot the pillage this turn. If they play the other subtlety, we go down to 1, which is notably not 0. Although I'm a little bit worried that if we are able to Emrakul, we'll go like Emrakul, block a subtlety, and then they'll just have 2 creatures in play. I guess I could try to Culling Ritual first. We got to find the Urborg off the pillage anyway, so let's do that, see if this happens. We do find it. So now Emrakul costs 9. Let's see how much mana we have. We have 12. So I guess I'm going to go Culling Ritual to try to get a mana back, and then Emrakul. And then be in pretty bad shape against any counter magic, which they probably have. Okay. So I'm going to need like a Flare or a Dismember off the top, or I guess Birthing Ritual would do it. But they can even Surveil to kind of stop me from drawing anything. They keep a card on top. Okay, that works. Do I want to cast? I guess I can't cast the Agent. Wait, okay. If you do... Okay, it is in May. Okay, so... I cast Birthing Ritual. I attack a Subtlety into Emrakul. Your turn. Out of the frying pan into the fire. They hit a lethal attacker, also known as Coiling Oracle. Put an Oculus into their hand off of the Oracle, and then they can cast the Oculus. Instead of casting the Oculus, they're holding up Hardcast Force of Negation. They find a copy of Subtlety, and I have no graveyard either. I don't have triple green to go Icetill and Decay. All right, tough game. All right, I think I'm going to move on to the Urborg Maverick deck. As far as tactics, I did like tactics in the deck. Might not be the best archetype right now, but I do think I would continue to play tactics if I was going to be testing this archetype. Yeah, I want to play a League of Maverick just to see how that's feeling post BNR. It was a deck that, like, if I was going to pick like an RCQ deck to grind pre